Hi, I'm Kathy Bissell. Welcome to the Golf Show 2.0. We have a special guest this week, and Gary's going to tell us all about what's going to happen here.
Well, we're going to talk with the man who invented golf in the 21st century, Barney Adams. And we're going to talk a little bit about LIV and what he thinks about pro golf with current state. But mainly, we're going to talk about how Barney has spent the last 8 or 10 years trying to give golfers the shaft, first in their putters, then in their drivers, and now with their wedges. Barney, it's great to see you. What do you tell people what you've been doing these days?
Well, you pretty much nailed it. I've been trying to give them the shaft, and I just keep trying different avenues.
Hey, tell us about this latest iteration. I mean, well, first you came out with the putter shaft, and I know a lot of people at the time said, "Well, that's ridiculous. The shaft and a putter can't possibly make a difference." I watch TV. I go to tournaments. I swear, half the guys on the PGA Tour and the Corn Ferry Tour have your shaft in their putter or something similar. So obviously, you found something.
Yeah, it does work. It's technically superior. It's not a oh, how should I say it? It's not one of these dramatic 20-yard further type of deals and so on. But the technology behind the shaft is there and it works.
And what does it do? What does it do for the putter for people who missed that product when it came out?
Well, if you look at putters, if you look at the original putters, the Tommy Armour blades, the bullseyes, the putters of those designs, those were very small heads, and as a result, they were, relatively speaking, they were very light. And as putters got bigger and designers discovered heel toe weighting as a presumed benefit, they added weight to the putter head. And so some of the putter heads that are being, take a look at, I'm trying to think, take a look at the TaylorMade putter heads today that you see the guys use. Those things are half again heavier than the early bullseyes and so on that I mentioned. But what hadn't changed was the putter shaft. Well, as you add weight, you're putting more stress on the shaft. And it got to the point where the shaft would oscillate very, very slightly during the stroke. But if the shaft is oscillating, then the head is oscillating. And that makes it more difficult to bring the head back to the ball square. And having square head at impact is the key to putting.
That
So
makes perfect sense.
yeah, there was a technology there. Now, the hard part, you have to do this in a weight and a balance point that's the same as steel, because that's what golfers are used to. And if you could fix that problem, you could fix the oscillation problem by making the shaft wider or heavier. But those are, to the golfer, those are significant changes. And the golfer has to adjust to those changes if in fact they can. So it's not a good solution. So we had to make the shaft with the technology, but at a weight and a balance point that was the same that golfers have been used to for eons, tens of years. That was very difficult.
Hey,
So you were
my hands and my feet oscillate. What do you got for that?
There is a cure. I'll give you the address of the place where you could go.
Okay. How successful would you say has this product been on the putter? It's been out what, like 3 years now?
I think two and change, maybe. We're a tiny little company. We don't have any money, but I think our sales last year approached $3 million, which isn't bad. I mean, we don't advertise. We don't play the game, the equipment game, the way it's normally played because we can't afford to. So, considering those circumstances, we're doing okay.
Barney, would it be fair to say that you were trying to replicate feel, but improve the technology with this putter shaft?
I think it's the other way around. I think we're trying to improve technology, and the field got better because that's what we hear back.
Okay, that I understand.
So before we talk about the wedge shaft, aren't you supposed to be retired? What happened to that plan?
Yeah, well, I'm only 83, so I mean, come on. I got plenty of time left. I didn't do it well. What can I tell you? I didn't sleep well. Uh, I was, I'm normally very, very grumpy, and I got worse than that for everybody that I was around. And I just, I tried to volunteer at the SPCA I'm a dog lover, but it wasn't golf. And that's all I really do. That's what I am. And then this kind of came along, and I said, okay, I'm in.
Before we depart the putter shaft, what's the give us the name and where people can find it and how they get there. How can they get shafted by you?
Yes, that's one of my great enjoys. The company is called Breakthrough Golf Technology, BGT, and they can go on wine. Yeah, maybe they can go on wine. I don't know. They could go find that, and don't ask me anymore because I am inept when it comes to that world, the world of technology.
I don't recall how you first tumbled to this idea of looking into the putter shaft, but even after you did that, how did you get the idea to the wedge shaft is also probably under technologied, if that can be a verb. How did you guys decide to go into that?
It was a logical progression. I mean, if you looking at it from my perspective, in my mind's eye, I could see what the shaft was doing with a putter, and then I said, well, what the heck? Let's keep going through the bag and see if what we can bring to the golfer, and that's what we did.
So I think I recall reading your wedge shaft is 2.5 times stiffer than the average wedge shaft. Why don't you run us through how the BGT wedge shaft works?
I don't know. It's easier to hit the ball square. I mean, golf in the first place, golf clubs are about distance. That's what sells golf clubs. I don't care if you're selling 5-irons and I've got 2 5-irons and one goes 5 yards further than the other. That's the one that's going to sell. That's nature of the industry, and it has been that way forever. But the thinking was, all right, if we can make a shaft that helps keep the club head square through impact or add impact, you're doing the golfer a favor. You're making it easier to keep the wedge on line, and that's the short game.
Barney, I looked at the drawings online, and it looks like the shaft has a bunch of different pieces inside of it. You would never know by looking at the exterior picture of the shaft, but that's how it looks to me. Can you explain the construction?
Well, it is multiple. It is multiple materials. It is very heavily patented, I might add, which again kind of surprised me. I wasn't sure we could get one, but in fact we did. And I got to repeat myself. Most of the stuff that you see with golf equipment was very well engineered by the marketing department. They came up with a neat name and a nice look, and you hear the story. This is kind of the opposite. These are technological advancements.
Yes.
We try to tell the story, but who cares if it's got 2 pieces inside or 3 or 9 or 17, as long as it hits well, and as long as it performs the way we say it's going to perform.
Yes, that's correct.
Is the wedge shaft similar to the putter? It kind of gets rid of the oscillation, so it returns to square better. Is that how it works?
That's the idea. I mean, visualize the putter shaft, bringing the putter face square to impact all the time. Then say to yourself, gosh, would that work with other clubs in the bag? Because that's the question we asked ourselves.
It sounds like you guys might not be done diving into the bags. Did I just hear that right?
Well, I mean, I'm just a kid. I got a lot of things to work on, so see.
There's been a lot of R&D on driver shafts. You guys dipped into that, which I thought was a little surprising given how much effort they put on that. But as I think you just politely said, that they're good at telling stories more than coming up with technology. very polite, in fact, for Barney Adams, especially. What did you guys tip onto for the driver shaft?
You've known me too long. Yeah, it's coming. Let's just put it that way. We're working on some stuff.
Okay. Is it the same deal? If you want to get your wedge reshafted with the BGT technology, how do I do it? How long does it take? How much does it cost?
Well, I don't know how much it costs, and that I am being square with you. You can go to BGT, and they'll tell you. And we've had people buy the shaft that we couldn't get our foot in the door with a putter shaft, but they jumped all over the wedge shaft. So there are people like, good for my memory here, the club fitting, couple of the club fitting operations that are stocking the wedge shaft, so you can get it done through them.
I was going to say, I don't have to ship you my wedges and then you ship them back. Are there places I can go to have it done?
Yeah, there are. Yes, there are. You could do it either way. What are
Cool.
Name me a couple of the custom fitting operations.
Oh, like Club Champion is one of them.
I know Club Champion bought some. As a matter of fact, Club Champion, they run an ad. They've got I don't know what it is, but it's a Club Champion. They change it periodically, and their last ad was all about the wedge shaft. So they've obviously gotten on board.
Nice.
I guess so.
Well, you were beloved for golfers by golfers ever since you came up with the Tight Lies fairway woods. Tell us about. I think people would like to know, where are you? What are you doing? How much golf are you playing? What's the state of your game?
Oh, you didn't have to ask that.
Well, you can lie.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely. Yeah, I can't. I don't think I could lie that much. As a matter of fact, I play. That's what I do. I just went through some medical damn thing. I had to fill out a form and so on. And they asked me about my life. And I said, look, I'm 83 years old. I play golf 3 days a week, sometimes 4 if I really feel good. That's all I do. You know, I'm not running any marathons. I don't work out. I don't play basketball anymore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't play well. I'll get lucky and shoot my age maybe once or twice a year. You know, that's it. And that, believe me, that's from the front tees. But I still love to play the game, and the game still drives me nuts. You know, I'll go to the range by myself and hit ball. Come up. Well, I got this. I woke up in the middle of the night with this idea about releasing the club better and so on. You know, it doesn't work, but I'm like the rest of the golfers.
You're a regular Ben Hogan, just like him. You can't let go. I'm the same way. I can't let go.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's the nature of the game. I wrote a story about this recently because I read an article that talked about golf being fun, and I said that's ridiculous. Golf is not fun, and it's dumb to market it that way because it'll just blow up in your face. Golf is hard. It is very, very hard. And as a result, when you do hit a good shot occasionally and so on, it's incredibly rewarding. And it's the rewarding factor that adheres people to the game and brings them back and so on. You guys can try this. I've been doing this for years. Pick a friend that just played recently. Could be as they're walking off the course, but pick whatever. What's the best shot you hit today? You'll get an answer. Oh man, I nailed a 7-iron on number 14, or I don't care if it's a chip, but people react to that. That's the rewarding factor.
Even Gary answers questions like that. Like, how was your game? And then he'll go for 10 or 15 minutes uninterrupted.
I think I'm stealing this line from Jim Bouton and changing it from baseball to golf, but you put your hands on you have your grip on a golf club, and it turns out it's the other way around.
Yeah, that's a good line.
He said baseball.
Very
you grip a baseball your whole life, but it turns out it was the other way around.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of wonderful professional athletes, and golf absolutely drives them crazy. They're so used to being good at their sport, and golf doesn't care. Golf embarrasses them. It's hard.
Yeah, I feel bad for those NBA guys. They're all 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and they're out there waving at it. They just don't have a shot unless you're Steph Curry. And then, half of Major League Baseball pitchers are pretty good, and then everybody in the NHL is about a 2 handicap.
Very good.
Hockey's a lot like golf, only
Yeah, slap shots. Yeah, slap shots. As a matter of fact, that's a good way to practice your swing, is to take like a hockey swing of the ball. Yeah, hockey players are pretty good players. Not all of them. I've played with some that weren't so good.
No, there's probably goalies. They don't shoot, so they aren't. Hey, what's your take? Let's talk about the state of the PGA Tour today, and of course, the big thing going on is LIV Golf, and the PGA Tour is restructuring ways to rain money on the PGA Tour players. As the average fan, what have you felt as you watch these dueling tours?
I have to watch myself.
I hate it when you do that.
My initial reaction is very negative. I mean, I know it's about money, and the Saudis got, God knows how much acres of money and so on. And, and there are organizations, companies, etc., in the United States that do business with Saudi Arabia on a regular basis. So to try and castigate them for the fact that their societal track record isn't exactly what we would like to see it be is a little bit hypocritical, because it's kind of like the Chinese. I don't think the Chinese exactly do things the way we do on a regular basis. They have a different culture, different beliefs, and so on. So I have to ask myself the question: if somebody came to me and said, look, we're going to make you the official club maker for the LIV Tour, and here's $20 million, and it's guaranteed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I'd probably take it. I mean, what the hell? I don't have unlimited money. But on the other side of the coin, my altruistic side, if you will, is very, very, very much against it. And I also will say that this is, what's the word? Not kismet, not whatever, but this is Greg Norman revisited. He tried to do this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And
twice.
Yeah, I have a policy. I did it on my book and some of this. I don't badmouth. I don't go negative. And let's just say that if I were describing him, I'd have to violate my policy.
Well, I'm sitting here waiting for my LIV deal, and I'm available for 4 figures, maybe 3.
Yeah, I understand. I that's what I'm saying. It's easy to play the. Yes, I would never do anything like that. It's et cetera, et cetera.
Almost everybody would who needs money. Charles Barkley joked that for $200 million he'd kill one of his relatives, and I think your average American, regardless of how annoying his relatives are, would agree with that. Even if he had good relatives, $200 million, that's stupid money.
I will say this though, because I was reading, I think it was Cam Smith, but I don't know who it was unhappy. If they lose their world ranking, if they go to the LIV Tour. Well, last I looked, they played 54 holes. And, the world ranking is based on a 72-hole golf tournament, and the leaders of the tournament play against each other, which is a lot different than playing, you're on number 4, they're playing shotgun, and the guy that's leading the tournament's on number 13, so you don't see what he's doing. You don't feel the pressure. I think I don't have any problem with them losing their status with playing the LIV Tour.
So I'm guessing you haven't bought any LIV merchandise. You don't have a T-shirt that says "Go Niblix" or "Come on High Flyers" or 4 Aces. You don't have a hat that says 4 Aces.
I've only got about 4 shirts anyway, and I try and wash them fairly frequently. That's it. I've never been a fashion leader.
But every golfer just picks up these shirts for the logos and usually has 30 of them, me included. You're saying you're not a logo guy?
I give talks on golf equipment. In fact, I got one next week or something like that. And it's basically okay, here's Barnyard. He's the expert on golf equipment. You guys don't know anything. Let me see if we can stump him with someone. That's my pitch. That's, and I just do it for fun but I demand a golf shirt. That's my pay. And that's what my wardrobe, semi-fresh.
Nice. So did you ever think you would see a regular driver crack the $500 barrier? I guess talk about the prices of golf equipment now. I mean, as soon as one company finally did it, they all couldn't wait to jump in.
Yeah.
And anybody who hasn't bought clubs in 5, 6, or 8 years is in for some sticker shock if they go looking at. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if they sell, I mean, if they can sell them,
yeah,
that's the name of the game. I talked to a young man yesterday, was asking me about Adams clubs, and he said that he was kind of frustrated because he had some of our old designs that he liked, and he said they're so expensive online that he couldn't afford them. I'm thinking, my God, those are 10 years old, but it's supply and demand.
Well, it tells you maybe nobody's made anything better since then.
Well, now you're into my
yes
equipment act that I do, and quite frankly, as I said before, it's a marketing game. It's not a product game. People think it's a product game, that golf equipment's a product game. It is not, because we have I think it was 19. Oh, it might have been 98. I don't know. I can't remember anything anymore. But we have a series. We have a set of specifications given to us by the USGA. And at that time, all of us were up against the limit, so to speak. We were already there. And I know I'm repeating myself, that we run down to the marketing department and we say, oh, my God, we got to come up with something for, 2024. What do you think? Come up, what's a name that people will like, and what can we do to the club to make it visually different? It ain't going to play any different, but what can we do? And if you see an ad that says, well, I've got the new Sickle driver and it goes 7.8 yards further, all that means is that you have found somebody whose angle of attack and spin rate that they produce will benefit from that particular driver by reducing the spin and so on. But that doesn't mean that the people that are out buying the thing do. That just means we finally found one person that we can talk about in our ads, so we're not lying.
Yeah. Kathy, before I give Barney my special big quiz, have you got any last question for him?
I was wondering until I saw online, it looks like the wedge shaft is made of carbon fiber. There's an aluminum thing that's holding stuff together inside it. And then there's the part that attaches to the club, the wedge one. I was wondering, the part that attaches to the club, is that steel or is that carbon again?
I think that's I know we have them made by a guy that designed a connector for NASA, of all things. We could have stumbled into them. And I think it's steel, but I'm not sure. But I know it's
okay.
It solved a heck of a problem because they broke.
Oh.
And until we got this connector, now you can't break them now, but this connector was a big deal. And I know he's a NASA guy, and I'm pretty sure he's in the U.S. And yeah, it was. I don't know the exact material, but I'm pretty sure.
The description your website has something about little grippy things.
Yeah.
That hang on to the graphite and I guess hang on to the steel at the business end of stuff. Yeah, I found that very interesting.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That was a game changer.
Yeah.
The amazing thing is, for that, he used Post-it notes because they're sticky, so it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, there's little aliens in there, but we can't go into detail.
All right. Well, Barney, thanks for being with us today. I'm about to give you what we like to call Van Sinickel's Big Quiz. 4 questions. If you fail to get any of them correct, you will be enshrined in the Hall of Shame. If you get all 4 correct, you will be enshrined in the Big Quiz Hall of Fame. So these questions have nothing to do with each other. So are you ready? Here we go. This is a movie question. In what 1964 movie, Man in the Middle, starring Robert Mitchum, he portrays a U.S. Army lieutenant colonel who's asked to defend a fellow officer who shot someone else in the military. What is the name of Mitchum's character?
Next.
You don't even want to take a guess?
Oh, I have no idea.
His name is Barney Adams.
Okay.
You better watch that movie. 0 for 1. Here you go. What noun means an argument, a prize fight, a brawl, a blunder, or a small locomotive used in mining? What noun?
0 for 2.
It's called a Barney.
Really?
An argument is called a Barney, or a blunder
Right.
is called a Barney. Well, that actually makes sense now that I hear about it.
I get the theme here, but I would be,
Yeah.
yes.
I think you're going to be able to avoid the shutout here. What was the name of a large purple dinosaur who appeared on a children's TV series?
Yeah, I still got them. One of my choice.
Okay, you got that. We're going to give you that one. Last question. What university produced the co-founders of Blue Oyster Cult and the co-creator of Java programming? The school was named for a local entrepreneur who was crushed by a swinging pipe in a sand quarry. And here's a hint. This college is in New York. Here's a hint. At hockey games, the pep band still chants, "Let's go Tech." This college is in New York, the state of New York.
Can't be Clarkson because that's a hockey school where I went, but I didn't hear any of those stories. So
it's Clarkson. You got it.
Is
you
it really?
Went to college there.
I know, but I went to college in the dark ages. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was probably still. Was it Clarkson College then, and it's now a university? Does that sound right?
It was Clarkson College of Technology then.
Yes.
And we went to school with our slide rules on our hip.
Yeah.
Or no computers.
Wow. You know, I used to use the slide rule for batting averages, but that's about the only thing I know how to do with them. You know, can you remember how to do stuff with the slide rule?
I think if I used it a little bit, some of it would come back to me. But they were pretty amazing pieces of equipment, really. But I mean, they used to take us dumbass freshmen and have us stand back to back, walk 10 paces, turn around, and then do an equation on the slide rule.
I love that. That's fabulous.
And I might add, this is true. I didn't make this part up. It was a 2-mile walk to class. And in wintertime, 30 below zero was not uncommon.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just the way it was. I mean, the latitudinally, Clarkson is about in line with Duluth, Minnesota. If that gives you
an
idea.
It's either in Syracuse or near Syracuse, correct?
Oh, it's up north. It's
north of Syracuse.
50 miles north of Syracuse. Yeah, it's closer. Montreal is closer than Syracuse.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to tend bar for a guy whose brother was a tailor in Montreal who took care of the Canadian players. And as a result, would get tickets to the games on occasion, and sometimes he'd give them to me. And my buddy and I would go up to Montreal, scalp the tickets, and walk around Montreal. This is the old Montreal Forum for $2 in those days. Go to the game, and then have enough money to do whatever we wanted to do in Montreal.
You were an entrepreneur even then.
I don't know about entrepreneur, but I was a hockey fan. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, be proud that you went to the same school with the guys who co-founded Blue Oyster Cult, the greatest one-hit wonder band of all time.
All right, good for
Well, thanks for being on today, Barney. It's great to hear you. Thanks for your insight. Kathy, send us out.
I will. Thanks for watching, everyone. And this has been absolutely, totally interesting. Barney, I thank you so much for sharing your inventive mind with us.
I think we forgot to do our shameless plug.
That's okay.
Click and
okay,
subscribe. Subscribe. Nothing will happen to you. Our goal is to make 12 cents someday if we get enough viewers. So please click. Barney, thanks. You're the best.
Thanks for having me on, guys. And I can promise you by tomorrow I'll have forgotten all of this anyway. So my mind works.
So will we.
Yeah, but yours will be intentional. Mine, I can't help. It just happens.